Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Kyya and welcome back to my channel. I appreciate every single one of you guys coming to join me this fine evening. Now, I didn't think I was going to make like these story times kind of like a regular thing. I don't know if it's going to happen anyway, but fuck it. 2 days in a row, we're making story times, baby. That's what we're doing. I've been kind of wanting to tell this story for a while. I actually originally thought it was going to be my first one, but I just did kind of like a little lockdown story instead because I figured that would be the most simple one to go with. I mean, this story is not really complex or nothing, but it's got a lot of moving parts to it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I'm going to go too into detail, but we'll see how long this video gets. Yo, I'm not going to lie. My mic sounds like really ass right now, and I have no idea why. But I guess I can fairly say it is what it is at this point, so fuck it. Let's get into the story, I guess. But before we do that, I would like you guys to all go and support the channel by subscribing and turning on post notifications down below. Right now we're on a track to 4.1k, our goal is 5,000, and honestly, if you want to get us to 4.1k, you're more than welcome to, bro. Go look downstairs. Excuse me. Go look in the description. Subscribe, bro. Do your thing. It's free as hell. And make sure you like the video or else you're going to have an absolutely terrible day and a random rabbit-eating raccoon is going to come lick your ass cheeks in the middle of a Walmart parking lot at 7:30 p.m. on the dot. Not as to a clue why specifically that order, but yeah, deal with it. That's your problem. Like the video. Anyway, so this story takes place last year, I would say somewhere in September in the middle of the pandemic. Now, the thing is it could be a little earlier, probably in the summer. I don't know, dude. I just remember I wasn't really allowed to be in large groups at the time. So they went to Riverfront pretty often, but I genuinely didn't. I probably went maybe 2 or 3 times before this incident, and I personally have only gone back about maybe 2 or 3 times since. But for a while, that really was the chill spot, right? It was a place in our city that we called Riverfront. Now, go figure, it was literally just a nice little walking path, I guess, or bike trail that sat in front of the river. It was right next to a casino, too, so it's just like, it was just meant to look nice. It was a little steel park, not a steel park, a stone park, I guess. And you just went there and you kind of had fun. The grass is green, the air was cool, there's benches, there's a ton of just stone walk paths and everything. When I mean stone, I'm talking about some concrete. Like, this place just looks beautiful, especially at night. At night, it looks amazing. And that was kind of the appeal for us, you know? It was just like, it was a chill spot, nothing ever really went down there, and that was it. Now, we always did take into consideration it was in a pretty ass part of the city, so we're a group that knew how to mind our fucking business. You know, but a chain is only as, strong as its weakest link. And that saying will be somewhere else in this video, I promise you. Once we get there, you'll figure it out. So my boy calls me up one day. It's probably like a Friday or a Saturday. I'm going to guess it was a Friday, though, because I know it was at my dad's house that night. Now, we've all grown up in the city that we live in currently. We've all been here. We know our way around it. We know where not to be, where and at the right times, too. You don't want to be at some place at the wrong time, guys. I'll tell you that one thing. And sometimes it just happens, and that's your L, but if you could prevent it, man, prevent it. So my friend calls me up on a Friday. The night before, the group chat was talking about going out and hanging out the next day, and we all kind of agreed to it. We were just like, screw it, let's go. So here we are. It's a couple hours later. My boy scoops me up. It's probably like, maybe like 7:30 p.m. Probably somewhere around there. We're just hanging out, chilling, right? We go to our boy's house. We're chilling. Then we have another friend that's on his way, too. In total, when we get to my boy's house, there's probably like 6 of us, right? By the end of this whole ordeal, there was 10 of us that were ready to go and hang out, right? So it's late night, it's like 9:30 maybe, and we're like, fuck it, let's go to Riverfront. 2 of my boys brought some gas and some rolling papers, and they were just chilling, having a nice little ball. They figured they'd worry about munchies and shit later, and they just wanted to go, do their thing and have some fun. So from this point on, right now, we're driving from that park that we were at, because my boy actually lives right next to a park, so we just call that area, that park. We're driving from the park, we're all the way down the city. Let's see, we're taking the highway now, about 5 minutes, get to the main city, and then we start driving, right? Everything was so normal. The traffic was normal. It was a Friday night, so there were some people out and about hanging out doing their thing, right? And like I said, we are in a pretty ass part of town, especially with the casino there. It seems like crime rates have just risen. Now that is to be expected, because the casino, I'm not gonna lie, pretty underwhelming. It really was just so underwhelming. The parking garage is actually bigger than the casino. The casino was meant to be like 6 or 7 stories higher. It was supposed to be huge, it's supposed to be ambitious, and it kind of just, it flopped. Yeah, it flopped, not gonna lie. Definitely didn't help our city. I don't even know why the fuck they put it there anyway, but it is what it is. But I know for a fact that they actually redid Riverfront, which is the place where this entire story is going to be taking place, because they were building a really dope hotel, plus the casino is right there. Anyway, like I said, we were driving from the park, made it to the highway, made it to the city. Cool, we're in our city, right? Now, our city isn't the biggest thing ever. We know our way around it. That's all that matters. Damn, I can't speak English. I said around. That's crazy. Anyway, we know our way around it. Now, by the time we get to Riverfront and all that, it's probably like, maybe 15 minutes later, so everyone's kind of doing their thing. The initial party was me and one of my main boys, and then we had our another best friend that was in the group that brought his little brothers and his friend. Now, one of his little brothers is 16 and a half, 17, and the other one's like 14, so they're pretty much old enough to know how to operate. I don't expect one from one that's 14, but the friend that they brought along was 16. And keep an eye and remember this group because they're probably going to be the main focus of this story. Actually, there is no probably. They are the main focus of this story. Then the third group of people is 3 of my other boys that are there too. So once again, group 1, me and my boy. Group 2, my boy and his little brothers and their friend. And then group 3 is all of our boys, which is 3 people. So here we are, pulling deep as fuck into this dark ass parking lot with very minimal lighting, full of people. This parking lot is full, and I mean full to the brim of cars. I, in all my time of living in this city, have never seen this parking lot specifically or this area as populated as it was that night. I mean, like I said, I grew up here, so things like this are pretty usual yet unusual. So I can only assume that what happens later in the story, that this whole group and parking lot is literally a bunch of buddies. Like, this whole squad that we pulled up on was a group of people that were friends. So there are about 5 other cars in this parking lot. 6 actually, considering that there were these 2 girls that were chilling off near us that weren't a part of any group. I remember them sitting there and just listening to music while like eating, but they weren't eating anything like big. It kind of looked like they were just like, the only way I can describe it is what I can remember is them like eating like a cheese platter or some shit, just a platter. Like one of those ones you see at parties and shit. Yeah, that one. Like I just remember them eating shit like that, just basic shit like crackers, and they had beverages and they were listening to music and they were just having a good time. Anyway, we'll get to them in a moment. So here we are, we walk into this parking lot, right? We're like, let's get to the benches on Riverside. Mind you, there's a gate that you have to get through. So instead of going through the gate, you actually walk through an underpass under the train tracks and into the little recreational area. Now, what I will say is this area contained a bunch of really nice green fucking grass, a beautiful concrete jungle full of benches, and a little playground. It was also completely lit up, unlike the parking lot. That parking lot might have had like 2 or 3 solid lights. But it was definitely enough to see 10 feet in front of you. Let me just say that. So here we are, entire group walking under the bridge, right? Now, I will say that I grew up in a pretty ghetto fucking city. I'll be honest. I definitely think that my city is pretty ghetto. It's dangerous as shit. And it is what it is. Like, it doesn't have the worst crime rate. But it's just like, you can definitely avoid those areas in this city where they're really bad as you can everywhere else. But we're just a bunch of fucking stupid high school kids that just don't care, and we don't really pay attention to our surroundings. But we definitely kept a good enough eye that we felt safe, The thing about safety, though, is a lot of problems tend to stem from it. In my city, you really don't want to let your guard down no matter where or when. And I'm going to be real, if anything happens to you out there, I'm just going to say either you're not making it home, or if you do, it'll be in a body bag. People hold grudges in my city, and I will say that altercations, especially late at night and while people are under the influence, probably aren't the best circumstances to be under, I'm gonna be honest. You will get caught in some shit, and many people in my city have, unfortunately. At this point in our location, we're pretty much on a large strip full of clubs, bars, and the casino is right there. If you weren't in a group, I will say, probably not the best place to be. So, now like I said, we've made our way down to sit at the little benches, the little stone benches next to the playground on Riverfront. Everybody's chilling, having a grand old time, reconnecting, because it's really been a while since we all sat down and actually chilled together. A couple of my boys are over here rolling some joints, and, it is what it is. At the time, that's just what they found fun, and, I can't really blame them for it. Listen, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, as a person that is probably qualified nowadays to say this, you can try marijuana if you'd like to. I think if you're above the age of 16 and you're with people you can trust, I don't think weed is a bad thing. I'm just going to say this. Now, don't let it affect you. Don't get addicted to it. and you should be fine. It's pretty much just like saying don't make it a habit, you feel me? Just don't make it a habit, don't let it affect you majorly, and if you really shouldn't be doing it and you don't have a purpose to do it, then don't. Like, people have reasons that they do it, people have reasons that they don't, and it's good to respect that. Anyway, moving on. So my boys got their little small circle together with their joints just rolled up, and they're just, passing and doing their thing and hanging out, right? I'm over here with my other friends, sober as all hell, just chilling, talking, catching up, right? So this is where group 2 kind of comes in. So it's me, my boy, his little brothers, and their friend. So the 16-year-old brother that he has was like, hey, yo, can I go to the car real quick and then charge my phone? Now, at this point, we knew he was bored, so we didn't really care. My boy gave him the keys, told him to do his thing and just be careful. Now, remember earlier how I said that, we know how our city operates and shit like that, and we know when to mind our fucking business. We know how to keep our necks low and our heads down, and that's really all you need to know. But as I said before, chain is only as strong as its weakest link, so, yeah, let's just continue the story, unfortunately. This is pretty much where all the bad shit is going to start happening. So now my friend's little brother takes the keys and their little group is off and on their way. So as they're walking up the steps, there was these guys, right? Now, we seen a couple of these guys when we entered. A few of them came after. Anyway, as I said before, this group is on and they're walking into the parking lot, right? We have the 2 brothers in front and the friend in the back. Now, like I said, a chain is only as good as its weakest link. Now, he's not the best at ducking and just minding his own fucking business. So this is how I know he's scared, right? So they're all walking in just chilling, right? And the one in the back starts, sizing people up in the parking lot. Now, when you start sizing people up in the parking lot, right, that means you want smoke. Like, you want to scrap, you got some beef, you're trying to settle it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should not be sizing people up in the parking lot if you know what's good for you. Now, as I said before, we know what's good for us, but him, on the other hand, we're gonna third party him and call him Kyle, because we don't have a buddy named Kyle. So Kyle's sitting here and he starts sizing people up, right? And I'm gonna give the name of the oldest brother of that group. His name is going to be Marcus. So Kyle and Marcus, his brothers, like I said, are walking through the parking lot. Kyle starts sizing people up. Now, like I said, this is a bad idea. If you know what's good for you, you don't do this shit. Now, they all start looking at him, right, as he's walking. He's over here looking these men dead in the eyes, acting like he hard. Now, naturally, when you start fucking with people, they're going to fuck with you back. So they all start staring them down, right? And then one of the guys steps forward and goes, you got a fucking problem? Marcus's little brothers immediately go, no, sir, there's no problem. And the kid in the back's like, I ain't got a problem. You got a problem? Now, at this point, it's a done deal. Kyle done buried himself into a fucking grave right now. All Marcus's little brother wanted to do was charge his damn phone. And his boy is out here selling his life. So the car that they were going to was at the edge of the parking lot. These gentlemen were happily at the entrance going into where we were coming from and in the middle of the parking lot. So here's what happens, right? Picture this scenario. You're getting stared down by 3 grown-ass men. One is stepping to you, and there's another car pulling out backwards to block off your escape. That is exactly where this group of people found themselves. All because one of our boys wouldn't shut up. So Marcus's older brothers sit there and they apologize and they get out of there as fast as possible while dragging their friend. Now, even as their friend's leaving, he's still trying to check them out, saying, I ain't no bitch, bruh, blah, blah, blah. They come back and they full sprint us and tell us the entire thing, right? We all look at Kyle and we're just like, bro, what is wrong with you? And we pretty much lightly chew him out and try to point out where his mistake is. But he's just responding with aggression, talking about some, I ain't no bitch, they ain't gonna do that to me, blah, 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 I ain't getting stepped to. But it's like, in reality, bruh, that situation wouldn't have occurred if your young ass wasn't trying to step to them. You feel me? So it's just like, now we're in a terrible situation. Our escape is blocked off, and our boys just got threatened. So after a little bit, we're just like, dude, we don't know what the fuck to do. So what we did is we thought that if we called the cops and gave them like a tip or some shit, told them what happened, didn't give them our names or nothing, and we made them come to the parking lot, we could sneak out. And I'm gonna be honest, that's pretty much it. Once the cops got there, we kind of walked up around during the commotion, we got out, we met up at a McDonald's, we talked about the situation and assessed it. We were a little upset, like all the older kids were obviously a little upset that our time got cut short because we had a idiot on our side. Now it's been some months, but yeah, I have only gone back to that spot, I would say, like I said, 2 or 3 times since. Nothing really major happened. We were just there during the day. Simple as that. Haven't gone back at night at all. And that day, I just remember everyone was really afraid. Not a single one of us knew what would have went down if we had just walked up there, you feel me? But we're glad we didn't get to find out at the end of the day. Thank you all for watching, everyone. I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching the video. If you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. I mean, you heard the whole thing. All my socials will be in the description. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. It's been Kyya. Like the video. Just like the damn video. Screw it. Like the video. It's been Kyya talking about absolute nonsense. And, yeah, that's the end of the story. Goodbye.